In some ways, being forgetful is really, really good because change means pain. You see too much, you know too much. You know. On the other hand, if you don't see, you can just continue being as you are. Now, the problem with wanting to change or seeing something about yourself is that the moment you see something about yourself that's negative or positive, you run into its counter. In other words, you sit somewhere and you write poetry. And you said, oh my God, I didn't know I have that particular capacity or potential. I didn't think I could be that creative. But you are. You write poetry. And then you sit to write, but you can't write. And now all of a sudden you say, this is a Kendra who could, but this is Kendra who can't. Now conflict begins. Why? You have seen a different part of yourself. So conflict will never come about if you only see one way. You know? It's something that parents experience with their children, especially children who are transitioning, children who all of a sudden come forth and say, Mom, I think I'm gay, or I think I'm this, or I think I'm that. It's something that is kind of jolts the parent, you know, because like all parents, the moment they have a child, the first thing they say is, I want grandkids, you know, and then lo and behold, the shock comes to their system. And it takes some time for them to kind of be okay with it. Okay, they have to kind of do this, like this private inward wrestling. Like all of us in this class, the moment you figure something out, you find something out, you witness something that kind of devastates you. For the first time, you experience a good amount of loneliness because you have lost something. And whenever you lose something, you kind of are swallowed by grief. Good amount of sadness. And in as much as you want to express your sadness, there is no one to hear. You don't even have the language to express it. And so conflict begins. You're good one day, you're bad 5 days. Now, if you happen to have a companion, your companion is very, very unlucky because you're going up and down all the time and they have to kind of endure this. If you're single, it's very also devastating. You know, now what happens is you're not going to find yourself in conflict when you forget. You're always going to find yourself in conflict when something pushes you and you wake up and you become aware and you take notice and you observe and then you understand. And the moment you want to change, and you do change for 5-10 minutes, and then you go back into the person you've always been.
Is being forgetful being ignorant?
No, I mean, you can, but I just think it's just the way we are. You know. Yeah. But,
different things.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's complicated. We'll put stuff on the board, like in a month or 2 or 3. When the class is over, it's much easier that way. Anyone else? Yeah. Grace?
Yes, actually.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a lot, like, you hear someone in class say something and you're like, wow, that's neat. I have the opposite issue where I feel like if I say something in class, I'm going to say something stupid.
Okay.
How can I get over that?
You can't.
Great.
Good job. Well, here's the thing. Anxiety, frustration, fear, confusion, and then anger. Now, a couple of things. If temperamentally, I mean, people, they come in variety of different shapes and shades. Just to simplify, you have the introverts and you have the extroverts. Okay, extroverts are, for the most part, thinkers who kind of allow the outside forces to shape them, okay, to create desires for them, and they're okay with it for the most part. Introverts, on the other hand, it's difficult to be with them. They're artists, they're the creative types. They suck as human beings. And they don't suck because they're evil. Temperamentally, there is this spirit of creativity that lives inside the introverts. And it has its own mind. They're happy from 9 to 9:15. All of a sudden, the world crumbles. And they have this sorrowful tone to them. And you have no idea what to do with that. Now, if you're an extrovert or introvert, let's say You have not been raised in an environment where your parents sat you down, you guys talked. You're not a reader, you're not a thinker, but you're inspired to ask questions once in a while. You raise your hand, and because we are emotional animals, you don't think and then feel. First you feel and then think. Okay? If I say something nasty to you, you're not going to think first. You're going to say, well, he pissed me off. And then, if you have the capacity to say, well, let me kind of detach a little, think about why he said it, think about why I feel this way. So you raise your hand to ask a question, but this is your first or second or third time. Now, it's not just me and you in the office going back and forth. You're sitting in the midst of 40 people. Other people have power over you. You see your own reflection in people. People judge you, condemn you sometimes harshly. And in order for you not to be condemned by the judgments of other people, you rather just be silent than to raise your hand and make a fool of yourself. Now, just in case you were brave enough to just kind of speak out, it's like riding a bicycle. You know, the first 2, 3, 4, 5 months, someone needs to hold the bike, maybe even your shoulders, otherwise you'll fall. So anxiety, it's very, very, very normal, very natural, because you lack the experience. Now, if you keep asking questions in class, this, other classes, over and over and over again, what will happen is, first, you'll be hurt by the way people look at you. And after a while, you say, you know what? I don't care how they look at me. You have a thick skin now. Okay. Then you fumble. And then you're going to say, damn it, Grace, you wrote your question down. You thought about it over the weekend. What's wrong with you? There comes a point where you understand that you're going to fumble left and right, but it's okay. And then after 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months or years or decades, all of a sudden you get it. So remember, anxiety for the most part has to do with something you lack experience in. You can't read a book and overcome it. It doesn't work that way.
How's your family? Are they well?
Yeah.
That's good.
I have children who are being raised in this culture. I'm not sure how they'll be. So when you ask me how's my family, it makes me sad.
Oh dear. Sorry.
Yeah, you shouldn't ask about my family.
Yeah, we'll do that in the future. Thanks for the feedback.
Anyone else?
Is it possible to re-assimilate a culture into another one?
You mean appropriation?
Like that?
Yeah, you see, appropriation is interesting. You will never take the good parts. They're too difficult. You can't take the Malcolm X's, Mahatma Gandhi's, Jesus's. They demand too much. You can't appropriate them. Unless you can make them into a commodity of sort, put a dollar sign next to them. So appropriation for the most part has to do with your ability to take the trashy part of the culture. Eminem is good. Doesn't require much. Snoop Dogg is good. Doesn't require much. You know, but the more meaningful, the more valuable, it's always going to be difficult. So when we talk about appropriation, if you take, for example, Malcolm X, okay, or anyone that you think to be a hero of humanity, آب دریا را اگر نتوان کشید هم به قدر تشنگی باید چشید. You know, you're thirsty and there are 50 bottled waters. The truth is, only one will do for you. You don't need to drink 30. So when you talk about appropriating someone like Malcolm X, you will take as much as your capacity allows. Maybe your capacity allows only for you to read the book, come to class, talk about the ideas, not to make money, not to acquire fame, not to inflate your own ego, but simply to express the ideas. So when you talk about borrowing some cultural component. The question is, what exactly is it you want to take? The other is, well, who are you? What is your value? What is your belief system?
So it's possible, but very hard.
Oh, it's nearly impossible. You know, Angela Davis doesn't live too far from me. For those of you who may not know, she is one of the founders of Black Panther. She lives with her companion. Sometimes when she walks her dog, whose name is Seneca, after the Stoic, sometimes I sit back and I say, man, you know, what she's gone through, the people she's seen, the book she's written, the book she's read, and the lectures she gives. And now she sits back. She's almost 80. She's in a great shape. And she sits back and she looks at this culture. I wonder if at times she says, did I really waste my life for all of this? Anyways, anyone else?
I seem to always put musicians, not consider musician, I don't know how to say it, one of the greats. You're naming greats, Malcolm X, Jesus.
Yeah, musicians are not good.
None of them. Zero.
No. Artists are just not good, period.
Not a chance.
No. Let me give you an example. By the way, forgive me for this class being all over the place. It's usually that way, or this way. And for those of you who are looking for like a systematic way of doing the class, unfortunately, there is a Norwegian painter by the name of Edvard Munch. I encountered his painting, The Scream, many, many years ago when I was a kid back home. And he's, I think, early 20th century or late 19th century, I'm not sure. But he's on a bridge and he's screaming, and there are people in the background that are laughing, having a good time. And the screamer is standing by himself. There's no one around him. It's a great piece of art. Yeah. It's a great piece of art, speaking about how human beings in modern times are sad and depressed and lonely. And all of us in this class, visibly, but for the most part invisibly, are screaming. We are all of us in pain. All of us are. Pain from loneliness. Our parents weren't around. Culture sucks. There is nothing out that nourishes us. We've had experiences we haven't been able to digest and process well, so there's hurt feelings inside us. And you scream, and sometimes people hear you, but they don't really care. Now, it's a great piece of art, and it reveals a good amount of awful things about the current culture, but it doesn't do anything. It doesn't educate you. It may inspire you for 10 minutes to realize what a crummy place you live in, both inwardly and outwardly. But it doesn't do anything to fix the situation. You know, Plato some years ago had argued that you need to be aware of fake artists. Because what they do is they plant images inside your head. But they don't give you a way out. They don't give you directions. They don't give you a GPS. All they'll tell you is your marriage sucks. Okay, fine, my marriage sucks. You've created this conflict. How do I fix it? And there is no way to fix it. And all of a sudden you realize the artist who was supposed to liberate you puts you further in bondage. Now you see too much and you can't do anything about it. What's the good of that? But to be fair...
The will to change.
I'm sorry?
The will to change.
No. You can't will to change. Who said that? Nietzsche? Are you kidding? Germans.
The spark.
French. Spark? No, man. It's no good. No spark.
What is the lack of spark? It's like abusing it.
What?
So there's a saying that pressure breaks diamonds. What if throwing something in the dirt, treating like good shit is what creates that spark? If you coddle a kid too much, he's going to think he's the shit not really doing anything. But
I don't disagree with anyone. I think spark is good. You just better hope that this spark never turns into fire, because your house will burn down. No, you don't want to do that. And we'll talk about all of this, like when the semester is over. Yeah.
Isn't it better to know that you've met yourself than to live
No.
with feelings?
No. You don't want to know. What is it with you young people? You don't want to know. Live in the dark. What? What? Coward?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You rather be willfully blind than to know?
Yeah, it's good. I'm sorry? Am I married? Of course I'm married.
How's that going?
Yeah, you have to be married.
How's that going for you?
I'm sorry?
How's that going
She goes to Kaiser with me every day.
for you?
Yeah, she takes care of me when I get sick. She'll buy me a nice casket from Costco with Bluetooth. Well, you want to get old, alone, sick? You don't get married because you love. It's a businessman. How long do you think you're going to remain young? What? My grandmother, she's probably in hell. She was a mean, kind but mean woman. She said, youth will stay with you for one day, old age, a lifetime. I'm sorry?
Old.
Me? 60.
60.
Yes.
Your kids?
60. I aged them. You have to, man. Every time your father sits you down, try to knock some sense into your pathetic concrete of a head. What he's saying is, I'm a 50-year-old man. Look at my experience. Live my experience. Be my experience. He doesn't want you to be 18. Being 18 sucks. Your father sees, and he feels, but there isn't much he can do. It's like despair watching his house burn down. You don't make your dad happy. You make him miserable. Not you, I'm just saying.
Is that how you feel? Is that what you think that your kids feel? Do you think that your kids think, my father?
Yes. Oh, yeah. It doesn't matter what they think. They'll experience it one day themselves when they get married.
You're glad that you have kids?
Am I glad?
You want
You know, when you do something, you don't think. When time passes and you reflect, you begin to examine. And then you begin to see some gaps, holes, inconsistencies, falsehoods. And then you say, having kids is good, but it's also bad. Good in this way, bad in this other way. And it's like salt, pepper. You know, you take the bad with the bad. And you hope that some of it is good.
have to be rationalized more.
Oh, Allahu Akbar, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Rationalize. You know, it has taken me 50 years to become really good at that particular craft.
Rationalizing? Is that the word? Yeah.
Yeah, to be able to be rational. We are, as I said, we are pushed by things that inspire a good amount of emotions. And then you just follow the emotions. You don't think about the emotions. You don't know why you're doing it. You just follow the emotions. And then all of a sudden, one day morning you wake up and you realize that you're hitting against the wall. It's unmoved. It's far too stronger than you are. And then you're forced to think. Think. Not feel, but think. And you think only because, the right way of thinking, you only think because all of a sudden you encountered a problem and it needs a solution. But you can't find a solution if you're contaminated by emotions. You find a solution by removing yourself from the emotions, standing far away and then looking at it, taking notes, observing, examining, learning. Of course I'm rational. Why wouldn't I be? I'm a 60-year-old man. If I was to be moved by my emotions, I'd be an infantile 18-year-old. Be embarrassing. Getting upset right now.
That's just awesome.
I have no soft spots. Anyone else? Yes, Francisco.
Question.
Zain? Mohsen? Mohammed? Anaz?
Are you a religious man?
Well, am I religious in times of pain, abandonment? Absolutely. Am I an atheist in times of forgetfulness and being comfortable? Yeah. Well, you think you're Muslim all the time? No, are you kidding? Allahu Akbar. What is it with people? Oh, we're a little bit of everything. Do you not appreciate your mom when you get sick and you have the flu and you're in bed and she makes you soup? And you say, Mom, I'm so sorry, you got 10 kids to, and a household of people to feed, and here I am taking care of me. You feel bad. Why? Pain all of a sudden makes you appreciate something. You have overlooked so many things. So yeah, in pain, when there are issues that you can't resolve, when you got cancer, when you're about to die, when someone close to you passed away or is sick, you become religious. You pray to something. It doesn't matter what it is. But when life is going okay, you have power. I mean, you're not a monk. You're not like this 15-year-old Muhammad who goes to the caves every goddamn day. You're just a regular kid, living a regular life, having a regular good time. But it's nice to just belong to a thing called being a Muslim or a Buddhist or a Christian. Nothing wrong with it. It's great. Assalamu alaikum. Anyone else? Jamie?
You said marriage is a business.
Yeah.
Let's say that all the commodities that can be provided by a wife get automated and put to a single package that you can purchase the next day. How much would you buy that package for?
I don't know these things. The way you put it, I just don't like it.
That's okay.
Let me just give it to you this way. May I? Imagine you and I just met.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, I'm 60. You are
22.
legal age. Good job. Now, let's say I find myself attracted to you. Okay? You're fine? Hey, look, it's just a hypothetical, man. Just go with it.
It's flattering.
You think at my age, I want to go out with someone who goes up and down all the time? Like one day good, 10 days bad? So when you and I go out and have coffee, the first thing I ask you is, so Louis, tell me, how are your parents? Because if you've had that past that's checkered and cracked, I don't want to be your father, man. I don't want to be your mother. At my age, I don't want to babysit you like that. Am I treating you like a business? Absolutely. Why? I don't want to go through another bankruptcy. I don't want to be investing my emotions and energy into something that's going to go down. Let's just say you say, I got good parents. I say, well, that's great. Okay. How often do you call them? Every day. So you have a job. What? You want me to give you pocket money every goddamn day? I need you to be an adult, mature, secure. Know your emotions a little well. I need to know that you think well. There's a foundation that's healthy on which you stand. That's a business. Why? Because when I come home, there is stability. I don't want to be a therapist. Now, when you're young, you're an emotional junkie. I understand that. You want to feel, you want inspiration, you want this. Nothing wrong with that. It's just at different stages in life, you want different things. Why do you think marriages, for the most part, were arranged? As an 18-year-old, you got crap for brains. You can hardly just wipe your own behind. What, you want to make this life-changing decision about marriage, love? No, are you kidding? Let your parents, they've tasted what marriage is like. They know money, they know mortgage, They know the complexities of society. They also know the entrapments of sex. So before you say, Mom, I fall in love with like Jackie. No, they're going to say, you know what, honey? We're just going to get you married. That's how it is. It's a business. Anyone else? Ethan. Oh wait, Marcos? Ethan.
Do you think it's important to like stay in the present, to live in the present?
No, please, no. No. That's like new age garbage. No. Generally speaking, we occupy three realms. Your past defines you. Without your past, you have zero meaning. Depression, chronic depression, is when your past ceases, stops giving you meaning in a healthy way. You can't go back to anything. You're good one day, you're bad 50 days. Everything you touch just dies and decays. Respect your past. That's who you are. You're a bundle of experiences. Okay. Future, you're here for what? You want to graduate, man. You want to get married. You want to have children. You want to make money. You want to buy a house. You want to move to Colorado. It inspires you. Future. There are these tiny little moments that an experience walks into your life and you embody it. It does something to you. You live in the moment. And then it disappears. It's like a gift. It's a free gift that's given to you. You listen to music and all of a sudden you say, oh my God, this is beautiful. You have a conversation and your past and future disappear. But for the most part, your present, this moment right now, is about your future. Okay? If you raise your hand and say, my dad, well, you're bringing something from the past, okay, that has not been processed well, and you see another Ethan that says, I hope to get myself to a place where my father is no longer an issue that I have. Okay, so you bring the past, you put in the present, in hope that the present will give you tools to resolve the issue so that the future can be free of it. But don't listen to these YouTube teachers. Live in the present, live in the moment. They're poison. Anyone else? Rafael. Moises.
No, I have
Plenty.
so much.
Yeah, Zain. Wesley?
Is it possible to get rid of your bad qualities by yourself?
No.
Teacher. I said, they need a teacher, a mentor.
Yeah. It's maybe possible, but I am biased when it comes to this, biased in the sense that my own life, the way it unfolded, I realized that, for me at least, I needed a few people to walk into my life to make some very, very fundamental changes. I couldn't have done it myself. And it depends what it is that you're talking about. There are some people who can learn the piano on their own. They have that genius. I don't know how they have it, but they have it. For most of us, you need inspiration by itself is not enough. Finding the piano interesting is not enough. And being able to play some tunes is not enough. If you want to really learn how to play the piano well, you need someone. And you need to make sacrifices every Tuesday, Thursdays, and these days it's about $120 an hour. You know, yeah, you need someone. Again, it really depends on what it is you want to change. If you come to my office and you say, you know, I'm getting C's in my essays and I want an A, I say, okay, Wesley, well, just plagiarize. Because writing is about thinking. Thinking is about understanding. And understanding usually takes a long time. Yeah. So yeah, you need someone. Anyone else? We have time for a quickie. Yeah, India.
Do you think that two people that have their own traumas and issues can work them out together, or is that something?
You know, people enjoy playing the Messiah figure, and that's okay. You know, where you come home and you say, Amir, I say, yeah, India, what's going on? A, B, C, D. And I like to sit back and listen and, like a good mechanic, give you some suggestions. It's good. At least we have things to talk about instead of just sitting and vegging out by the TV. You know, hopefully some good conversations without emotions poisoning our relationship. There comes a point where your capacity for listening to my nonsense, it just becomes full, you know. And then when I come home and I want to share with you what I'm going through, you say, Amir, listen, I got 2 kids, I got a house, I got to cook, I got studies, I ain't got time for this stuff. And then you realize that now you've hurt my feelings, and now I express myself to you in a way that's unpleasant. I don't really know how things work anymore, to be honest. I mean, all the things that used to make human life possible, they're no longer in play now. I mean, the most basic things of human existence are now in question. Anything, your gender, your sexuality, your culture, whatever, it doesn't really matter. You can't depend on anything anymore. But before we can talk about fixing traumas, maybe on Wednesday we can talk about how traumas come to be. You know, because some traumas, again, happen gradually. Some traumas happen immediately. Some traumas are negative. Some traumas are positive. And those that happen gradually, and if they're actually traumas, they have bled into every part of your life. It's like cancer. You know, cancer 1 you can fix. Cancer 2, even 3 you can fix. When it gets to cancer 4, it's spread everywhere. The best thing you can do is just accept life, accept death, and just go into the sunset in a relatively healthy way. If you want to get rid of anything, you need to understand it well. And that's tough. It's good to see all of you. Have a nice day. I'm sorry, I have a meeting at 11, I just realized. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.